Hello and welcome to today's or this week's prenatal class. I hope you're all feeling okay in this heat and that you have a good setup of air conditioning wherever you are. And that especially for you mamas, that you are indeed slowing down to whatever extent you can. Because even if you are living in an air-conditioned environment, the temperature changes from inside to out really do take its toll on your body. I allowed myself a restorative this afternoon and I went so deep for a good hour and I woke up refreshed. It retanked me because even not being pregnant, I needed to honor this heat is taking its toll on me. So I invite you to do the same, because when we enter into motherhood, you already are in motherhood. You are already parenting. You and your partners are making decisions and choices as to which procedures to take, which avenues to take, which tests to take, how to educate yourself and what is available already at this time. So you're already investigating and asking and taking in questions. But once you are in full swing of motherhood, when babes is in your arms and you are living the life of a parent, this is our lifelong journey. We will always be a parent to our children, even when they've flown the nest and they've established their own lives and that they are creating their own lives. And having fairly young ones now, a 5- and 7-year-old, and just observing, witnessing, especially in those formative years, before age 6, they observe so much. And they are looking to learn from us from our observations, from their observations. Do we practice what we preach? Do our words align with our actions? And in order to have the bandwidth for our words to align with our actions and to be mindful of that cohesive, that merging together, we need to be as rested and restored as we possibly can, which is why I bring in these 2 restoratives in class, as it is so important. All right, from your comfortable seated position, let us draw our senses in. We'll come to close the eyes. We're going to allow the tip of the tongue to rest behind the 2 front teeth. As we draw the inner gaze inwards and upwards to the brow point. If you find that you are not completely at ease, not completely comfortable, then you will need to elevate yourself. Sit yourself up higher so that you are indeed able to have your knees on the same line as the hips. So we can sit with ease. And you may be needing 2 or 3 blankets. You may have a bolster, which is firmer, or a yoga cushion, meditation cushion. There are multiple ways that you can establish that elevation of the buttocks in order for you to sit with greater ease. So as we come to close the eyes, we allow the tip of the tongue to rest behind the 2 front teeth. When we draw the inner gaze inwards and upwards to the brow point. For you, you're going to gently place your hands onto your belly. Connect with your baby. And depending on how far along you are in your pregnancy, will dictate how much availability you have in your lungs. Once you're in that third trimester, you won't be able to breathe as deeply into the diaphragm. But let's not forget, we have the sides of the body, we have the back of the body. So we still have this good expansion of area from which to breathe into. Harnessing our cleansing inhale and our steady cleansing exhale. And you come to breathe slow and steady. Up through the nose, down the back of the throat, expanding into the lungs and the ribs. And as you exhale, there's that slow, steady release of the breath as you exhale. And you maintain that fluid motion with the breath, that steady fluidity. As you inhale and as you exhale. And you allow this slowing down, this deeper connection of the breath to quieten the mind and to begin to settle and calm the central nervous system. Full breaths in and out. Observing the quality of the breath. and allowing for that settling quality as you begin to connect deeper with babes and with your body. Allow the corners of your eyes to gently smile. And witness the energetic shift in the body as you draw your smile inwards. As you continue to allow the shoulders to descend away from the ears. As your collarbone is broad. And take a moment to have that conversation with your baby. It might be the 100th conversation you've had today. It might be the first moment that you've had to really allow yourself that luxurious time together in quiet. But take a moment to commune with your child. Consciously connect with them. Feel their warmth and excitement just as you do in your heart in welcoming into your family. They have chosen you and your partner after all. And they have chosen well. To allow for that mutual connection and excitement to be present to you. Good, and then come take your hands together at the heart. And as you exhale, gently come bow your chin down to your heart, honoring your body and inviting your magnificent mind to merge with the wisdom of your body and your soul. Taking the hands out in front. We're going to interlock the hands and take that right pointer finger on top of left. Turn the hands inside out. Release the shoulders away from the ears and gently turn your head from side to side. Noticing the quality in your neck and shoulders. Continue to allow the buttock bones to descend down into the earth. The weight of babes and the relaxin running through your body may give you more freedom in the pelvis, and there may be a rocking forwards that happens in the pelvis. So be mindful that the buttock bones are descending down, and notice, does this alleviate some of that tension that can come in the lower back? So maintain that descending quality through the back of the buttock. Cleansing breaths in and out. Now, as you come back to center, we're just going to raise the arms. Be mindful that the ribs don't kick forwards. Keep knitting the ribs together. You're not going to harm babes, but you knit the ribs together so that you keep the torso in place as you gently come to raise the arms. Allow the shoulder blades to descend away from the body, and you find your cleansing inhale. And your smooth, steady, cleansing exhale. Observing the quality of the breath. And then extend the arms straight up overhead. Actively engaging the outer edges of the feet. And then from here, we're going to keep all that length and come forwards. Now, hands out in front might not be available to you. It may be more comfortable to place the hands to the side or closer to the hips. If you are in your third trimester, get my blocks at hand. Blocks would be beneficial. That elevates you, and that allows you to remain rooted in the hands and extended through the spine, all the while lengthening. Cleansing breaths in and out as you breathe. And it's not about how far forwards can I go. It's more about how can I maintain that length in the spine. How can I elongate through the back of the body, extending through the sides of the body, creating space between each vertebrae of the spine. All the while keeping the shoulders descending away from the ears and the collarbone broad. And then we inhale as we ease steadily back. Let's change the interlock of the legs. Bringing that non-automatic leg now out in front. Actively engage the outer edges of the feet. Palms of the hands together. Now bring left pointer finger on top of right. Turn the hands inside out and release the shoulders away from the ears. Allow the buttock bones to descend into the earth. Remember, the pelvis can rock forwards. We want to keep the pelvis neutral. And you might not realize it until you descend the buttock bones down and you're like, oh, it feels really nice on my lower back. It can be a subtle move, but it will be a nice broadening that happens. All right. Once again, turning the head from side to side. Noticing the quality of the breath. And then as we ease back to center, we'll gently extend the arms up overhead. Shoulders descending away from the ears as the heart rises. And as you allow the shoulders to descend away, breathe into this space. Now you may be keeping the elbows royally bent. You may have shoulder history. You may be holding a lot of tension there. Some of you may find that you may be able to straighten the arms. But don't let the shoulders creep up. The shoulders do need to maintain that descending quality. And it's the degree to which the elbows are bent is what will help facilitate that space. So the objective is not to have straight arms, it's to liberate the neck and shoulders and shoulder blades. All right, release the hands. If the neck and shoulders are tighter, the arms will be wider apart. If you can bring the arms closer in, you may. Now as we exhale, we come forwards once again. It may be a different experience now with the legs, the change of the interlock in the legs. Maintain the buttock bones rooting into the earth as you rise and lengthen through the spine. Excuse me. 2 more even breaths in. And 2 more even, steady, cleansing breaths out. Good. Breathing into the spine and then gently easing back up. All right. Place the blocks aside. Stay as you are. I just need to blow my nose after that sneeze. We're going to do alternate nostril breathing. I'm going to come closer so you can see it. This, ladies, is a lovely one to do once baby's out in the world and you're breastfeeding or bottle feeding. You're seated, stationary in a chair. You can't really move. You need to surrender to that bonding moment of feeding. And a breathing exercise while you're there can also help you shift gears into that parasympathetic nervous system. Because for some, breastfeeding comes naturally and with ease, and for others, it is a process. And the baby doesn't latch immediately, or the milk isn't flowing as one had assumed it would, or what have you. There can be complications. And it can be very stressful to mother because we think it's the most primal thing in the world, and yet it can be tricky. So once you have come to terms with how breastfeeding is for you and you've learned the techniques that is appropriate for you and this child, then a breathing exercise to assist in allowing you to downgrade and to relax. And it's fabulous while you're pregnant too. So it's called alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. The only difference is when we're pregnant is we do not hold the breath. There's no retention in the breath. So right hand is raised. I'm not mirroring, so it's opposite hand. Pointer finger and middle finger come into the center of the palm. So your ring finger and your pinky remain raised. I have to lock my pinky finger in front of my ring finger to keep my ring finger raised. All right, and your thumb. And then you take the fingers either side of the nostril. Good. If you wish, you can place the opposite left arm, hand on the shoulder blade, and rest the elbow onto that arm. And that can be a nice ledge, or you just let the arm rest out in front. You can gaze your eye out to your knuckle, or close the eyes and draw the inner gaze inwards and upwards to the brow point. We're going to close the left and exhale fully through the right. So while pregnant, you can let the left hand comfortably rest on babes or just on your lap. You're going to exhale fully through the left. Inhale left. Close left, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. Let it be fluid. Inhale left. Close left nostril, exhale right. Inhale right. Close right, exhale left. And so on. Do 3 more rounds. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. That's 1 circuit. Do 2 more. Luxuriate in the breath. Imagine breathing as if in slow motion, but don't hold, don't retain the breath at any point. Just let it effortlessly flow one into the other. Once you've exhaled through that left nostril, release the hands. Place both hands either onto the belly or rest the hands back down onto the thighs. And just observe the quality of your breath here. And notice how it's brought about a nice calming effect in the body and in the quality of the mind. Alternate nostril breathing helps to merge the right and left hemisphere of the brain, bring greater balance to the right and left energies of the body. So as I said, once you have settled up around you in the breastfeeding and for the feeding time, it will also allow you to scan through the body and undo, relax any areas of tension. And you'll notice that as you do, you'll notice Babe starts to soften too, because you are one. When Babes is in your arms and you are feeding, you really are one. And if they are feeling tension in the arms and in the shoulders, in how you hold them, they're not going to be relaxed and receptive to the milk either, and to the feeding. So allowing for as much of that relaxing and that undoing as you sit. So it will take some time for you to figure out which chair you're most optimal in, which props are around you to fully support you so that there's no subtle gripping happening as you're holding babes, so that your arms can really feel supported by the baby pillow around your waist, so that your arms can completely surrender and relax as babes rests in your arms. So you're active and engaged in your muscles, but not holding intense. And those subtleties will be felt by baby. But the more that you expand into your breath, the more you'll be able to connect more deeply into your body. All right, let's come on to our hands and knees for cat-cow. Come, spread your fingertips and thumb pads wide. Middle finger is in line with the center of your wrist. Your shoulders are stacked above the wrists and the hips are stacked above the knees. We're going to curl the toes under, lift the buttocks, descend the belly, and lengthen the heart forward. As you exhale, you flatten the tops of the feet, tuck the tailbone, and round the back. Inhale, lengthening as you curl the toes under and extend the heart forwards. And as you exhale, you round in the back. Chin into chest, broadening. And you continue to move with that inhale and exhale. If the action of the feet feels complicated, do without. Keep the feet flat throughout. Doing less is always the better option. Harnessing the breath. When in doubt, do less. One more. Lengthening through the spine, releasing the shoulders. And exhale and rounding. Good. Coming back to center. Now, that knitting together of the ribs, you want this here too, so as not to strain in the lower back as babes comes forwards. So we're going to gently transfer the weight to the right knee, and we'll stretch the left leg back behind. You're going to curl the left toes under. We give you can't see my foot. There you go. Curl the toes under. Let that calf stretch come into place. While we're here, you're dropping the outer hip and you're bringing your awareness to the inner groin. We're going to lift that left leg from the inner groin. So when you're ready, power up through the left leg and gently lift. When we lift from the inner thigh, we keep the hips level, square to the front of the room. As we draw the shoulders away from the ears, we gently float. If you wish, the alongside the ear with the thumb pointing upwards to the ceiling. Full breath in and out. And as we release the hand back down to the earth, we're going to cross left foot over to right side. And we're going to come look over that right shoulder towards the left heel. Allow the hip to lengthen to the heel as you breathe into the sides of the body. And then we ease gently back to center. Come circle the hips in a nice full round circle. It can feel particularly good on the sides. So if it feels particularly good here, just pause on the sides. Do a gentle back and forth as you're getting that wonderful stretch into the glutes as it's holding a lot for the hips and the pelvis. And then we'll go to the other side. We'll shift the weight to that left knee and we'll stretch the right leg out behind, curl the toes under, and enjoy that wonderful stretch now through the right calf. Curling the toes under as you go. Allow the shoulders to descend away from the ears. And when you're ready, lift up through now that right inner groin. Raising up through the right inner groin, drawing the shoulders away from the ears as you breathe. Full breaths in and out. You can stay right here. If you feel you can go one step further, you can raise the opposite arm alongside the ear as the thumb points upwards to the ceiling. Harness the breath, release the shoulders away from the ears as you breathe. And then release the hand down to the earth and cross that right foot over to the left side. Look over that left shoulder, let your right hip lengthen to the heel and enjoy that wonderful stretch through the right side body. Coming back to center. We're going to draw the buttocks towards the heels. Now, if you have a block, take it, place it out in front. If you have a bolster, you're going to place that over the top. Now, you may have a pillow or two pillows. You can do one pillow and you can do one or two blankets on top of the pillow to firm it up. If you have two blocks, use them. Placing that second block mid-bolster stops the middle from collapsing in. So two blocks are optimal for pregnancy, and they're helpful post-pregnancy too. All right, so I highly recommend you having two blocks and one bolster. All right, we're going to bring the knees either side of the bolster. Your buttocks will be sitting on your heels. However, if that's not comfortable, that second block will sit in between the ankles to elevate the buttocks, to take the strain off the feet. You can also use a blanket if you don't have a block, remember. You can fold that blanket and place that blanket in between the feet. You've got excess fluids and blood and liquids in the body. So the knees may be talking to you, the ankles may be talking to you. You might not be able to have your feet flat on the floor. So all these ways of elevating are important so that as we come into a restorative pose, you can indeed be at peace and in ease and comfort. This is very important. So the setting up is critical. The buttocks resting on the blanket or the blocks, you lengthen forwards and you rest the head onto the bolster. If you're further along in your pregnancy, you may have more space between your pubic bone and the bolster to accommodate your baby bump. If you wish, you can create a little bit of space in between the two blocks and slide the arms in between. That's a really nice cuddle. Or you just release the arms alongside the body. Ladies, close your eyes. Relax the shoulders, release the jaw, and allow with the exhalation the body to melt and surrender into the bolster. We're going to be here for about 5 minutes. It's not long, and especially when you drift away, it will feel so much less. But close the eyes. With each exhalation, allow the body to release deeper into the problems. Now, if you are completely at ease, stay as you are. Just let my voice move further away into the distance. If you're not comfortable, gently come on up. You'll need that extra blanket. If it's the tops of the feet, you're going to take that blanket and you're going to roll it. Just 2 rolls is enough. And you're going to place it back here. Maybe 3 rolls. You'll decide. Because the top of your ankle, the foot doesn't lie flat on the floor. The top of the ankle is going to rest over this roll. And that will take the pressure off the top of the foot. Because it's not available for everybody to have that top foot flat. And then you'd have an extra blanket. Place that in between the legs, supporting you. You may need to fold that blanket once more to give yourselves that lift. And see how that feels. Small adjustments can make large impacts to allowing you to go deeper. Lengthening through the spine and releasing back down. Gently turn the palms of the hands down to the earth. And press into the hands to support you coming up. If you loved that posture, do it at least 3 or 4 times a week. Maybe every day when you come home from work. Or after lunch. If you're working from home and you have a few minutes. It takes about 7 minutes for the body to shift gears into the parasympathetic nervous system. And this is what we're cultivating. Move the blocks aside. We're cultivating remembering how to move from the sympathetic to the parasympathetic with ease, quickly, without strain. When we're in full labor and the body is doing its contractions, we want that sense of surrender, that dropping into the breath and going with the flow of the contractions so that we can override if there is fear or anxiety or, apprehension, so that we can drop into this familiar breath, so that we can downgrade to a parasympathetic nervous system in between contractions. I did that in my 2 pregnancies and my 2 labors. I was able to drop down into this quiet space in between contractions, and then when the contractions came, that wave came over for me, and I could go with it with greater ease. If you ultimately end up having a cesarean, you want the same. You want to have that connection to your breath so that you're not overcome with fear. Because often they call it an emergency C-section. So it's not planned per se. And we want that state of surrender of this is what is in the greatest good for all. So I am surrendering to this moment. And that really is the breath. The breath can override the consciousness, override the chatter of the mind. So that's why I put so much focus on our breath and on our connection to the breath and the body, so that we can exercise that muscle of shifting out of the mind and dropping into this well of wisdom, this depth of wisdom that's in the breath and in the body. Let's come into our Tadasana. Our middle toe is in line with the center of the heel. This may make you feel knock-kneed. If it feels like your knees are coming in, you're going to have a very slight micro bend in the knees, and that will help to realign the knees. Especially in pregnancy, we want to keep the body in symmetry. So aligning the feet, no heels, we want to stay in flats, because the heels, again, disrupts the positioning of the pelvis. So we want to have flat shoes while we're pregnant, so that we can root into the heels, allow the buttock bones to descend to the heels, and create neutrality in the pelvis, as the weight of the babes and the relaxing in the body will create this forward motion in varying degrees, which is why so many of us have this lower back pain when we're pregnant, because all the weight is coming forwards and the pelvis is tilted. So by descending the buttock bones down, you begin to cultivate quick fixes for yourself. Shifting your weight 5% more in the heels than in the balls of the feet, and allowing the buttock bones to descend into the heels. If you feel safe, ladies, I invite you to close your eyes. Draw your senses inwards. Otherwise, keep the eyes softly open, gazing out on the non-moving object out in front. And you draw back into your breath. You maintain your steady, cleansing inhale and your smooth, steady, cleansing exhale. observing the quality of your breath. Good. And then we'll raise the arms up. Inhale, sweep the arms up overhead. And as you exhale, sweeping the arms steadily back down. Inhale, raising the arms up. And exhale. Movement and breath. Hands coming to heart center. We shift the weight over to the right side. And we step the left foot back behind us. I'm stepping forwards, I run out of space. So your right leg is forwards, your left leg is back. And you feel that grounding force in the back left heel. You're going to roll that left inner upper groin in, so the hips are square to the front of the room and level. Hands coming to heart center. Ascending and rising up through the spine as you notice the breath. Now, if you're in your third trimester, keep hands at heart center. If you're in your first and second trimester, see how it feels for you today to raise the arms up. It is surprising how just the act of raising the arms up can feel exhausting some days. So if it is indeed taxing on the body, on the breath, then take your hands back to heart center. Do less. This is the most important practice of parenthood. Less is more. Where do we truly want to have our energy? And where can we conserve the energy so we have it for the actions that really matter? Eyes open or closed. Root into that back left heel. Feel that grounding force. Allow the buttock bones to descend. Allow the pubis bone to slightly rise. Heart rising. Good. If the arms are raised, sweep them back down and come step your back foot to the head of the mat. Come back into your Tadasana. Take a moment's pause here. And then we'll shift the weight into that left foot. Step the right foot straight back behind you. And come bend that front knee, resting the front knee over the heel. You want to keep the hips square to the front of the room. So again, there's that rolling in of the inner upper groin. There's that shifting of the weight back into that back heel as the hands pause at heart center. Collarbone is broad, heart is rising. And we can stay as we are, or we can raise the arms up overhead. Rising up. If today is one of those days where you're like, too much effort, arms raised. I'm keeping my hands at heart center. Honor that. Every day will be different. And the practice is to come back to that reassessing every day. What do I have the energy to truly do? The mind is slippery and it will trick us and go, no, you can do more, keep going. But if we listen to the breath, listen to the body, we'll get the true answers, the true results here. Step the back foot to the head of the mat, coming back to center. Drop back into your Tadasana and take a pause. And defy gravity, ladies. From that rootedness of the feet and legs, from that compact leg energy, Buttock bones descending. Now the heart ascends and rises upwards as the shoulder blades descend. You can defy gravity. And just this action of defying gravity out of the groundedness of the foundation, you're working. You're working the body, you're working the muscles, you're retraining the system. So throughout the day, reassess how it is that you are inhabiting the body. And open up. Yes, your chest is growing. Yes, your body is changing. But you can still readjust, reacclimate to each shift that is happening. Good. All right, we're going to step the feet 3 to 4 feet apart. We're going to turn the right toes in, and we're going to turn the left toes out. Bend through that front left knee, and your middle toe is aligned with the center of the heel. Heel of left foot is in line with heel or arch of back right foot. If you're dealing with sciatica, you want to turn the back foot in a little more. Otherwise, it can stay parallel to the outer edge of the mat. Again, find your hips. They want to be level. And even taking the palms of the hands or the outer hand alongside the hips, palms facing up, will give you that clear awareness of where your hips are in space and time. From here, we'll raise the arms, or you keep your hands at heart center. Again, what is available to you today? The arms are extended or not. The eyes softly gaze out over to that left hand or the left side. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. And even though you're looking out over the fingertips of that front left hand, you're not listing forwards. Your shoulders remain stacked above your hips. Full cleansing breaths in and out. This is where we sustain, and this is where we hold for a moment. And then we release. Take the hands to heart center. We're going to crease in this left hip. So you're going to draw the left buttock down and crease in this hip. It's going to accentuate the stretch through the groin. So as you can see, you're coming more to an angle in the torso in line with the back foot and leg. So you're rooting the right foot into the earth, and you're going to take this left hand and you're going to press the wrist into the thigh. Don't rest the arm because then the body tends to collapse. I'd like you to stay up higher. Apply that point of pressure as the wrist presses into the inner thigh and elongate and lengthen through the spine. So that right shoulder stacks above left, right rib stacks above left, and there's length from this hip to the armpit. Good, breathe here. If you wish to take it one step further, you'll take that right hand to the right shoulder and you'll align it with the ear. Hip descends into heel and you lengthen through the side body. Cleansing breaths in and out. Again, luxuriate into this wonderful stretch. If you're in end of second and third trimester, you may have feet kicking and bruising those ribs. So this is a wonderful way to open up that space. All right, let's sweep that right arm down, and we're going to float steadily back to center, taking the hands to heart center. Lift the toes of the front foot as you turn them in. We're going to turn and lift the toes of the back right foot and turn them out. Bend the front knee. Let me scoot back. Whoopsie days. All right. Rooting into the back foot. If you've got sciatica, turn those back toes in a little more. Let the front knee stack above the front heel and find the hips level once again. Virabhadrasana 2, as you float the arms parallel. Shoulders stack above hips, earlobes above shoulders. As you start, and then you may turn the head. Looking out over the fingertips of the right hand, or you keep the hands to heart center. Full breaths in and out. Good. Sustain that balance. Sustain the holding with the breath. And you want to be in a place of effort, but not strain. This is an important distinction. You'll hear me speak about it a lot. It's the breath that's going to tell you if you're in strain or if you're in effort. In effort, our breath remains even and steady. When we're straining, when our mind is holding the pose opposed to the body, then your breath will become labored. You won't have that fluid inhale and exhale if the mind is governing the pose rather than the mind and the body communicating. So we'll take the hands together at the heart. We're going to crease again. We're going to draw now the right hip down. So think of lengthening right buttock to back left heel so that you bring the body on an angle over this front right leg. And yet you bring the left side of the body into this nice alignment. You're guiding your right ribs forward so your left ribs are stacked above right, left shoulder above right. And you're going to gently press, apply that point of pressure. Right wrist into right thigh. It draws that right shoulder blade down, frees you up in the neck and shoulder, and again, maintains these opposing energies of rooting into the foundation and lengthening through the spine. If you wish, left hand will come to the shoulder and you'll align the arm with the ear. Harness your breath. Less is more, ladies. Stay up higher so you have greater ease. You're still working awfully hard. Steady breath in and out. And then we'll gently sweep the arm back down as we ease back up. Hands come back to heart center. Good. We'll lift the toes of the front foot, turn them in. And we're going to heel toe the feet back together into our Tadasana. Hands coming to heart center. Close the eyes. And drop into your Tadasana once again. How is the breath? Can you re-regulate the breath? From this centered place, this grounded place, find that connection to the inhale and connection to the exhale. Good. All right. Opening the eyes back into the room. Good. Just these moments of pause and connecting to the breath helps us to build that awareness of how our connection to our breath can calm us down. And that's empowerment. That's empowering that we remember, wait a minute, I can slow down my heart rate. I can re-regulate my breath just by pausing and breathing and placing all my attention on that one pointed act of observing the inhale and being fully present to the exhale. My idea is if we can do that and we can mimic that to our children, we can show them so much in how to manage their emotions, how to create containment within their bodies. But we can't teach it until we embody it, until we know it. So I encourage you to practice that connection to your breath. It is so empowering. And it allows us to reconnect on a deeper level to our bodies. Now, I'm coming down to kneeling. We're going to do one more exercise before we come to our resting pose. You will need your belt, and you will need your block or your nice firm blanket. You're going to take the block in between the ankles, and you can rest onto that block. If that's not enough, you can place a blanket on top and sit on that. You may want to fold the blanket once more. You can make yourself a throne. You can bring yourself as high up as you need to accommodate your knees, feet, ankles, calves. We all have history. We all have areas that are available to us and areas that are less available to us. So catering to our needs and understanding our needs is humbling, but important. All right, we're going to take the belt into that right hand and we're going to raise the right arm up. Again, be mindful about the positioning of the pelvis. The buttock bones want to descend down, and you'll notice it creates a nice broadening in the sacrum. Raise the arm up overhead. Take that left hand and take hold of your right tricep. That means rolling the inner arm alongside the ear as you bend the elbow, and you're going to just let that left hand rest onto the right elbow. This is all we're going to do today. We don't actually need the belt. You can release the belt. Descend the buttock bones down. Knit the ribs together so the back is broad. And gently guide your right elbow upwards to the ceiling. Now, the arm may be here. I'd rather you not bring the arm out to the side. The elbow needs to stay on this trajectory. So keeping the hand on the top of the elbow or in front under this tricep is good. So you can bring the elbow here, wherever it will rest. And we pause, and we breathe, and we open up. Again, a great one postpartum to help move the lymphs and the milk ducts and support all this circulation here in the chest. One more cleansing breath in and out. And then we gently release back down. So we won't be using the belt. I just peeked at the time. So we're going to do the modification and just stop here. So taking that right hand, take hold of the tricep, roll the arm in towards the ear, bend the elbow so that left hand rests behind the back of the head or the neck. And we're guiding that left elbow upwards to the ceiling. We're releasing the shoulders down away from the ears, and we're harnessing our breath. Full cleansing breaths in and out. One more breath in. One more breath out. Let bones are descending. Knit the ribs together so that you get a true opening in the neck and shoulders. As you exhale, releasing the arms gently back down. Roll your shoulders. Ladies in your first and second trimester, 2 blocks. One is okay. If it's one, you place it on the lower position. If you have the 2, place the second one mid-bolster so that it supports the center just that little bit more. Remember, you'll need 4 blankets. 1 for behind the bolster or your whatever you're using to lie back over to support the head. You'll need another 2 for your arm rests to move out to either side of the bolster. And then that 4th blanket you're taking the soles of your feet together. You're opening up your blanket in half and you're folding it into a nice long strip. So it's a nice long strip. You place the center of the blanket over the soles of your feet. Your buttocks are up against the back of the bolster. You're going to take your hands under your knees, and this blanket, you're going to fold it double under the shins. So let it fold double under the shins, and that will be a wonderful support for the legs. And you'll feel the support of the shins and the ankles will help release the groins. Ladies, your feet do remain on the floor, so keep the feet, soles of the feet together, but the feet rest on the floor. It's the shins that are resting into the edge of the blanket. Take your hands behind you, elongate through the spine, get as much length in the back of the body. Take that blanket under the back of the head, so the head is indeed higher than the heart. If you're low to the floor, you may find that you don't need blankets under the arms. The elbow is comfortably resting to the floor, and there's no pulling on the pectoral muscles, pulling on the collarbone. You can omit the arm rests, but they can feel delicious if you're very textural. Just resting the arms onto a soft blanket can feel comforting. Ladies, if you have an eye pillow, rest the eye pillow over the eyes. If you have hand pillows, rest the hand pillows into the hands. Allow the bottom jaw to release from the top jaw. Closing the eyes. And coming to surrender here into your resting pose. If you are in your 3rd trimester, you'll be lying on your side. If you're all set up and comfortable, again, allow my voice to move into the background. Ladies, if you are in your 3rd trimester, you'll need a head pillow. And you'll need your bolster. You will either place the bolster in between the knees or so that the top right knee is stacked in line with the right hip, or straighten the bottom leg. Bring that bolster nice and snug up to the hip. And then rest the right hip, right leg over the bolster. So the right pelvis is coming forwards a little. But it's nice and stable because the bolster is supporting the pelvis. Closing the eyes. Can be nice to have that extra blanket to rest the top arm on. If you have an eye pillow, you'll place it on the neck. If you have a hand pillow or an extra eye pillow, place it on this bottom hand. And again, with every exhalation, allow the body to surrender deeper into the earth. Continue to exhale and relax deeper with every breath out. Slowly beginning to move your fingers and your toes in ways that feel comfortable to you. Allowing your breath to become slightly fuller and deeper. And when you're ready, roll on over to your left side and come rest your forehead down onto the ground. This will just ground you and bring you back into the room. Good. And then slowly coming to make your way back up to a comfortable seated position. And we'll take our hands together at the heart as we'll seal our practice with one round of steadily breathing in. Swallow in your throat. Take a moment to take a nice full cleansing breath in and out. And I'd like you to envision a thread coming up through your right foot, outside of the right leg, and circling all through and around your body as if it's following the silhouette of your body, as if to bubble you and contain all this wonderful energy and bubble you for the rest of the day, just to contain you and conserve your energy. So allow it to draw down over to that left side and then anchor down on the outside of that left foot, as if you have this force field around the body and around your aura. Namaste. The divine light within me honors and sees the divine light within you. Thank you for your practice. Bye-bye.